Feel your feet. And if you look down at your knees, you take your fingers like this. And if you put them on your knees, they should be facing front. If they're not, adjust your feet until they are, or you can try putting a pillow or block between your legs, and that might help you align your knees. You can also put a belt on your ankles. So those are some options. Okay, so I might do that today myself. So I'm going to put this belt on my ankles. And you can put a belt on your ankles and a pillow or block between your legs as well, if you like. So just finding your Tadasana, bend your knees, straighten, bend, exhale. Straighten. And bring your arms up. And exhale through the center and make a ha sound. Inhale coming up. Exhale through the center, bend the knees. So you can gaze down at your knees, make sure they're tracking over your second toes approximately. As you inhale, you can spread your fingers apart. You can lift your chest a little bit if you like. Exhale. Now, if you like, coming up onto the toes as you inhale, coming up. And exhale through the center, bend the knees, looking down. Inhale, looking straight ahead of you or slightly down. And just notice if one of your ankles feels a little bit different than the other. If you don't have a yoga belt, you can use a TheraBand. And it's just interesting how every day is different. Now, when you do this exhale, do you feel one of your feet more than the other? And again, look at the alignment of your feet. So when you come down, do you feel your weight going more onto your right foot or your left foot? Do you feel any tension in either of the ankles? Just notice these differences. Okay, adding on, if you like, staying at the top and breathing here. So the palms can be together, or you can interlock the fingers and stretch up. And exhale, come down. Just going to do a side bend. Inhale, coming up. You can do this on the toes if you like. That's more of a challenge. And exhale, you're going to come to one side. So with the arms, you can fold opposite elbows if you like. Or keep your arms straight or interlock the fingers. Just see what gives you the maximum stretch in your side body. So we're doing this to open the rib cage. This part of the body doesn't get stretched very much. And we know from research that movement in the thoracic spine, the upper back, helps us with stress and pain resilience. So this is a good thing. It also helps us get more air in the body, which I think is probably why, in part, it helps with stress and pain. Helps our lungs work better. Notice if one side's tighter than the other. Switching sides when you like. Exhale side, inhale center. You can also hold the top wrists and stretch that. And I start to feel it into the hip and leg as well. When you're ready, finishing up. So at home, that could be a morning practice, just that, with a forward bend to counter it. So we'll do that forward bend right now, just to warm up the legs and feet and to ground. Apanavayu, inhale, arms up. And you can look up if that's not an issue for you. And exhale, coming down. So don't look up if you have rheumatoid arthritis, or if you have post-concussion syndrome, you might not want to look up. If you've got blood pressure issues, you might just want to come halfway down, or eye issues rather than head lower than the heart. So just keep that in mind. If you have any of those concerns, just be careful about the head lower than the heart. It is quite a change in blood flow. And the head up can be a problem for those issues I mentioned. Exhale forward. Otherwise, enjoy the full range of movement up and down. Inhale, expanding the belly. Exhale, contracting. And last time, just keeping it moving for now as we warm up. Exhale, center. This is Tadasana or mountain or Samastiti. So classically, we do this with the feet together. You can do it with the legs apart as well, and feel the bottoms of your feet. So if you have injuries, you'll probably have a tendency to favor the side that's not injured. So try to tell your mind and your body that we're safe, and try to put a little weight on that side that might be a bit more injured or doesn't work quite as well. And throughout the class, you'll probably notice that you start to feel both feet more evenly just through what we do. Okay, so we're going to do a one-sided forward bend. So Parshva-Uttanasana, bringing one foot forward, might be your left, might be your right. Start with your side that is easier for you. Usually in yoga therapy, we do that. And your feet are about one leg width apart, or whatever you can do. My teachers in India say, whatever you can do in one step. That's about right, okay? And then your hips are facing forward, that forward for you. And you're gonna inhale, bring your arms up in front or to the sides. Feel free to adjust the arms if you have injuries. Exhale, forward bend. Now I want you to bend from the waist. At the same time, draw the belly in and bend that front knee so that the belly comes onto the thigh, and then release. You can do this halfway down using a chair or a wall if you've got issues that I talked about, post-concussion, etc. Inhale, arms side or front. Side is easier. And exhale, forward. Now you can adjust that back foot so it's more turned out or less. And it can be wider laterally as well to give you more stability. Inhale, coming up. I'm going to show with the arms in the front. This is classical. And exhale, stretching way up. Draw the belly in from the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, coming down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Again, you can do this with a chair. You can also do it with something like a bench or a countertop to not come as far down. Inhale up. Exhale to your place, down halfway or all the way down. And doing this about 6 to 8 times, and then stay at the bottom. Inhale, arch the upper back up, look up. Exhale down. Now, if you have blood pressure issues, if you're staying here, you might actually want to stay in this lifted position, looking up to keep your head higher than the heart. Otherwise, moving up and down. And if that feels good, maybe staying in the forward bend. To come out of this, we're going to make it nice and simple and just swivel to the front. And just bring the hands up the front of the legs, hands on the thighs, and coming up. And notice the change in blood pressure. You might feel a little dizzy having done that. Just take a moment, rest. And then we're going to swivel to the other side if that's an option for you in your space. So we're going to repeat up and down. Inhale up, exhale down. Again, you can use a chair, a countertop, a table to go halfway down instead of all the way. Inhale, arms up. You can also have blocks that you bring your hands to. That's another option. So as you exhale, stretching way up and out. As you draw the belly in, you're bending at the waist for the forward bend. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. So it's a round shape. Bend that front knee as needed for that hamstring. And inhale, arms at the side, easier, or you can just bring the hands up along the leg to reduce the lever. Exhale, so it's not as hard on your back, not as much weight. You want to make it harder, bring the arms straight in line with the ears and come up from that place. And exhale forward. Just keep this going your own timing, up and down. That back foot again can be turned out or more parallel with the front. Doing this about 6 to 8 times. Inhale up. Exhale down, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Apana Vayu, the downward flow of energy, staying forward. To play with that back leg, maybe make it parallel as you stay in the pose. Centering yourself on that front leg. Inhale, halfway up and look up. It's called sthiti. The pose is called Parshva Uttanasana or Parshvottanasana. One-sided forward bend. And sthiti is this up and down. It should help you get deeper into the pose and then stay in the full pose if you can. If it's not comfortable, move your hands to the back of a chair, seat of a chair, a wall, countertop, table. Bend that front knee as much as necessary to keep your belly on the thigh, and try to bring your rib cage forward and lengthen through the lower back by doing that, and then forward. Stay here 4 to 8 breaths, depending on the length of your breath. You're probably starting to feel your feet quite a bit. Swivel to the front with your feet parallel. Bend your knees as needed. And then gradually come up, sliding your hands up the fronts of the legs. Bend the knees. Come halfway up. Exhale, stay. Inhale, come the rest of the way up. You want to come out slowly of those deep forward bends because of the change in blood pressure. And this was what puts us into relaxation response, just through the position of the body. So forward bends are used for reducing anxiety, stress, toxins, heat, reducing anything in the system. That's the forward bend, and also the rotated twists, and also inversions. So just notice how you feel. You probably feel more grounded now. Let's bring our feet parallel or together and notice how you feel in your feet. And at this point in the class, I don't know how you feel, but I can start to feel that foot that tends not to fire as well. That side of my body that's a little weaker, it starts to even out. This pose is called samasthiti, even standing pose. So you find that balance, that sama. All right. So legs and feet. We're going to start doing a few balances for our legs and feet, and this is also strengthening. It's going to be good for knees. So inhale, bringing the arms up in front. And exhale, you're going to bring one leg up halfway as you bring your hands down by your hips and really bounce on that other leg. Inhale, come back to your full Tadasana, palm tree pose. Exhale, other leg up as you bring your hands down to your hips. Inhale, coming up. I'm adding pointing and flexing of the feet to add a bit of nerve flossing for this. So as I come up, I'm pointing my toes. And as I come back to the center, flexing and really stepping into the center and stretching up. Exhale. Inhale. And just keep this going in your own timing. Really feel yourself standing on that leg. Really stand on it. And then stand on both feet. And keep your gaze down, soft gaze. pausing between inhale and exhale. Bringing my chin down as I inhale, Jalandhara Bandha chin lock. This is also said in the ancient texts to help with apana vayu, the downward flow of energy. It blocks the upward flow, udana, by doing that chin lock. It's also stimulating for the thyroid, we believe, helping with metabolism and hormones. And just finishing up when you're ready, coming back to your samastiti. Notice how you feel. Again, are you weighting more evenly into both feet? Has there been a shift? We're going to move to the side now. Inhale, arms coming up to the sides to your full Tadasana. And if you've got RA in your hands, you can stretch your fingers apart as you do that, any kind of arthritis. Exhale, bring your leg to the side, knee facing forward. So if you've got knee injuries in the sides of the knees, ACL, MCL, this exercise can be helpful. Now resist that closing motion, so you're still working with strength. Exhale, side. Inhale, really lift up on that standing leg and make room for that leg coming in. And rather than tilting to the side, really try to stand up. Inhale. So really standing on one leg at a time. Keep that going 6 to 8 rounds, or only 4 if you're getting tired. Really trying to embody. It's also building great proprioception, those nerve bundles throughout the legs, firing to keep you standing upright. The body is always trying to bring us to balance. Sometimes doesn't do it in the most functional way, but I see that over and over again. The body, no matter what's going on, it's always trying to bring us back to equilibrium, balance. And just finishing up when you feel complete. And we're going to go to the back now. I'm going to show it this way so you can see a little better. Inhale, arms coming front and overhead, palms facing forward. Chin coming in. If that works for you, Jalandhara Bandha chin lock. Exhale. The hands are keeping in line with the ears as you start coming forward. And the longer you keep in this extended pose, the harder. Or right away, go with the hands to the hip and pointing that back toe. Keep that hip down. Feel that length in the body. Inhale, really standing on that foot and bringing the other foot in. Exhale, other side. So again, if you want more challenge, keep the hands or the arms in line with the ears longer. Less challenge, bringing the arms beside your hip, dropping that hip that's back. Inhale, coming to standing. And you'll notice one side different than the other. This is one of the great pieces of yoga. Working one side at a time, working one side of the brain at a time. Bilateral movement, bilateral stimulation, really great for pain and stress reduction. Rhythmic movement, great for the brain. Being used with Alzheimer's care now, Parkinson's, the movement disorders. Balancing one side at a time. Exhale down, inhale up. you've had enough. Coming back to your center, samastiti. And notice how you feel. Probably more relaxed, more grounded. Bend your knees and feel your feet. So if you're ever feeling ungrounded or stressed, just try this. You can do this without people noticing. Just bending your knees. Feel the bottoms of your feet. There's a big part of our somatic awareness that's actually in our feet, just neurologically. It's the biggest place of awareness for our brain mapping where we are in space is our feet. So this is a way to just get into your body, out of your head very, very quickly. The next place is your hands. So it's interesting to me that yoga uses a lot of hand exercises, mudras, yeah, things like that. All right. So we're going to do a forward bend with both legs to tie this together. So I'm going to show this side this time, and I'm going to show some aspects that will make it a little harder if you like. So feet hip width apart or together, your choice. Classically, if feet are together, usually as we age, we bring our feet more apart. That's completely up to you. Inhale, arms coming up. If you have a knee injury, I'd recommend feet apart. Exhale, coming forward. So stretch up. Now bend from the waist, drawing the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Bend the knees and extend out at the same time with the upper back. Then your belly will get to your thighs. And then release the head down. Unless that doesn't work for you, you can keep the head up or come halfway down. Inhale, coming up, arms sides, or just hands along the backs of the legs. So this is probably the easiest version, is hands just coming up the backs of the legs and then coming up the sides and up. So I'll show the next step. Exhale, forward bend, rounding the spine. When you inhale, you're arching the back. Inhale, arms at the side. So start to arch through the whole back, upper back, lower back, creating an arch as you inhale. Exhale. Another version is you can hold opposite elbows. Inhale, arms in line with the ears, and come up. Strengthening the back. Exhale, palms facing down, coming forward. Have a look at your legs and feet, knees aligned, second toes. Inhale, full expression, arms in line with the ears, coming up. And exhale, forward bend. And one more. When you inhale, come up. If you're doing the full pose, arms in line with the ears as soon as possible. Stay in your forward bend. Now in this position, I want you to try to bring your rib cage forward on your thighs. So take the base of your rib cage, bring it forward on your thighs. Bend your knees as needed to get your belly or rib cage to your thighs. And then release forward. Hands beside the feet, in front. You can take the peace fingers, loop them between the big toe and the second toe if you like. And stay in the pose. If this doesn't work for you, you can inhale, arch up, and exhale, forward bend, bend the knees. Or stay in a halfway position. So just show that. You can have something like a countertop or table or chair, Stay in your spinal stretch, as we call it. This is really nice for getting length in the spine. So just find your expression of the pose. And coming up very lazily when you're ready to come out, hands on the shins, starting to arch the upper back up, bend the knees, slide your hands up to the thighs, inhale, exhale, stay halfway position. Inhale all the way to standing, pressing your hands on your thighs, coming up. And finding your samastiti, even standing pose. And see how you feel in your mind, in your body, and in your breath. And Patanjali's classical Raja Yoga, one of the 6 schools of philosophy from the ancient Vedic culture of India, which is 5,000 to 10,000 years old. This 8-limb system called Ashtanga Yoga, Ashta, 8, Ashtanga, 8-limb system, Anga, limb, is primarily about healing the mind. But we use our breath, we use our body, we use our relationship to ourself, our self-care, niyama, and we use our relationship to others through ethical, virtuous action to lay a foundation for this deeper level of experience. And with all of that, we move towards absorption, union, yoga, yug, yuj, with that which we are, however you want to describe that. That deepest part of you that is changeless, formless, and ultimately immeasurable. Just notice how the practice starts taking you in towards the self, the biggest self, beyond the ego. Okay, so we're going to do our last set of asanas, and asana, the physical postures, with breath and attention, concentration. One of the limbs of yoga, asana means to be. So we're going to do a calf stretch. So you're going to do this either with your hands at a wall or a chair or a countertop or something you have around in your house. And this is just a pre-yoga pose. It's not really an official asana, but it's a pre-pose for working the calves, which many of us can get tight and cause issues. So I'm going to do this with my hands here. You can do your hands at a wall as well. So that would look, I think you can see this. Yeah, you can see this, okay. So more like this. And I'm adding my hands parallel, my elbows parallel, so I get a stretch through my upper back as well. And that back foot parallel with the front, get the heel down. And if you want to rest your head due to injury, etc., just put your forehead or the top of your head on the wall. Or you can fold your arms and rest your forehead on the folded arms. Okay, so find some version of that for your setup. And when you're ready, you're going to bend that back knee. As you exhale and inhale, straighten. And just lengthening the stride until it's the right length for you. Exhale, bend. Feel that into the ankle and into the soleus, the deep calf muscle. Inhale, lengthen. Try to keep the feet nice and parallel. Your stride might get a little longer as you go along. And stepping forward. If you're at a wall, you can stretch your hands up and rest for a minute. And then go to the other side. So feet parallel. I'm doing it with my hands, wrists, elbows parallel, forehead, top of the head, actually, in my case, on the wall. Bringing the back foot back, heel down. Find the length that gives you a stretch in your gastrocnemius, the bigger calf muscle. Might feel it into the ankle if your ankles are tight as well. This can be used for plantar fasciitis. Stretching the calf can help with the bottom of the feet as well. Exhale, bend that back knee. Feel the ankle, the deeper calf muscle, soleus, and inhale, straighten. And keep that going your own time. Exhale, bend, inhale, straighten. I'm taking a little roll in my head as well as I exhale. I'm rolling more to the top of my head and inhale more towards my forehead, getting that shoulder opening at the same time. This is an add-on. And when you feel complete, stepping forward, if you're at a wall, you can bring your arms up, full Tadasana, forehead on the wall, rest. And to end our standing series today, we're going to do a little bit more on our back today, first class back. So we usually do about an hour of standing, but today a little less. I'm going to have your hands either on a countertop or the seat of a chair, the back of a chair, and you're going to do a spinal stretch. Just to stretch the whole spine. So some of you will notice your back maybe is feeling a bit rounded, like I'm showing right now. Try to lengthen it, lifting your tail up without compressing the spine. Bend your knees as needed. And then can you bring your hips side to side to get into the rib cage again? I'm doing this to help with breathing. I'm bending the knee that I'm moving towards. Inhale, center. The legs can be straight or slightly bent. Have a look at your feet, nice and parallel. As long as your knees feel comfortable, adjust the feet until your knees feel comfortable. The alignment of the feet, it depends on the shape of the bones in the lower legs. Go right into the whole side of the torso. And then come back to the center. You can exhale, bring your chin in towards your chest, and inhale, come to neutral, or some of you who can look up, contraindicated for RA post-concussion, be careful. Exhale, chin in, bend the knees, just working with the upper back a little bit. Inhale, looking up, pressing the palms down. Exhale, bend the knees, look down. Just getting into the neck and shoulders. I'm going to be doing a little bit of this every class because during COVID, we are at our computers way more than we should be, most of us. So this is great if you've got some rounding kyphosis in the upper back. And when you've had enough, just stepping forward. Release your hands. Come back to samsthiti, even standing. And notice how you feel in your body, in your breath, in your mind. And are you feeling that sense of contentment or joy, happiness that comes when everything feels aligned and settled and safe in the system? Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Feeling the bottoms of the feet. Inhale, straighten. And when you're ready, we're going to lie down. So take a comfortable spot for you. And have a pillow and a belt available. So if you don't have a belt, you can use a scarf, or TerraBand can be okay too if you got one of those. Trying to keep the props at minimum during these times, so you don't all have to run off to Half Moon and get your props, even though they do have wonderful ones. They can be nice to have. I've also got my feet at the wall, if that's an option for you, to put your feet at a wall. That can be a nice prop if you've got that as a possibility. Okay, so just starting with lying down, and notice how you feel with your legs straight. That creates an arch in the back. So how does that feel? Or would it feel better for you to bend your knees? So just notice how your back responds to having your legs straight versus bent. So if they feel better bent for this next exercise, put a pillow underneath the thighs at least, and the bigger the pillow, the more comfort perhaps for the lower back. And we're going to put that belt, if you've got it, on the toes. Got a tiny little loop here. And I'm going to bring my feet away from the wall so that I can point my toes. I'm going to have a look and just make sure that my knees are even. So I'm pressing out into the side of the belt, and as I exhale, I'm flexing the feet and trying to keep my feet as even as possible. So just starting with that inhale, pointing, and exhale, flexing. Now, if you've got knee issues, you might want to put this cushion underneath the knees, or you can skip the cushion. That's easier for the legs. Hardest version is with the cushion higher. Pressing my heels out, my little toes out. You might feel this even into your hips working. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Now, if you like, can you add the arms? Inhale, arms coming overhead to the floor behind you. And exhale, hands coming down by your hips as you flex the toes to the nose. If that doesn't work, just bring your arms to the sides to a place that works for you as you point. And exhale, coming down as you flex. So that's an alternative for you. Tadaka Mudra. And just notice how this is strengthening the muscles around the knees. It's my number one knee exercise. Pulling up on the kneecaps as you do that exhale to strengthen the quads. The more you press out to the side, you'll get into the outsides of the legs, all the way up to the hips. Got one hip that's not as strong as the other, you'll probably feel it right into the outside of the hip. And rest. You can remove that belt. Just rest for a minute. And by lying on the ground, lying on the floor, lying in a bed, our nervous system relaxes. We go into a relaxation response, which makes sense because in order to sleep, it's good that our nervous system sends the message for our bodies to relax. So if you're feeling stressed, ungrounded, another simple positional change you can make is just lying down on the ground. Okay, so we're going to work with bridge pose, and this is strengthening the hamstrings. We're going to stretch them later, but we're going to strengthen them. And this also strengthens the muscles around the knees. It's also strengthening for the back, but we're going to focus on the legs today. And we're going to focus also on grounding. Put that pillow between your thighs. It also could be a block or a cushion. And I've got my ankles and knees approximately aligned. Doesn't have to be that way. Your feet can be forward of your knees as well. What you don't want is your knees coming forward of your toes when you come up. So that's what you want to avoid from a physiotherapy perspective. So just finding your position. We're just going to start with some pelvic tilting. So as you exhale, you're going to tuck your tail under and squeeze the pillow. You feel the muscles of the inner thighs working. And inhale, release, and You're going to rotate your pelvis the other way, creating an arch in your lower back. I don't know if you can see that with my back. So I'm creating an arch here, and then as I exhale, that arch disappears as I tuck the tail under and I squeeze the cushion. So I'm going to leave my hands a little higher so you can see that better. Inhale, create an arch. Exhale, get rid of that arch. Tuck the tail under, and maybe start to lift the hips up a bit. As you come down, inhale. So we're doing opposite breathing than we normally do in this pose, just to work with the lower back and the legs and the feet. Apana-vayu. Downward flow of energy. Inhale, arch. Exhale, contract. And lift. Squeeze into that block. Hold after exhale if you can here. Hold. 1, 2 as you squeeze. Inhale, coming down. Exhale, coming up, tucking the tail under, coming up. Squeeze, hold, 1, 2. So this part's also strengthening for the hamstrings. Inhale, coming down. Exhale, coming up. Tucking the tail under, isolating just the lower back, not getting into the upper back too much now. Hold, 1, 2, inhale. Exhale. Hold, 1, 2, inhale. And rest. Okay, we're going to lose that cushion for a minute. You can keep it if you want. When I add this on, you're going to put that loop, that belt loop we've been working with for the feet. You're going to put it on your ankles. I don't know if I've taught this in a while, so this might be new for some of you. So we're going to work on strengthening the ankles a bit. So this time we're going to do the normal breathing, inhale up, exhale down. We're going to stay at the top and lift up onto the toes if you can. So inhale, coming up, lifting up. And I'm going to tuck my shoulders underneath. Exhale, stay. So I'm aligning my ankles and my knees. Inhale, I'm going to lift up on my toes and lift my hips higher. And exhale, just bring the heels down. Inhale, lift up higher. Now if you want, you can interlock the hands underneath, tuck the shoulders under more. Inhale, lift up. Now if you have post-concussion syndrome, you probably don't want to do this. You can try lifting up, inhale up, exhale down, but don't stay here. This is bringing the head lower than the heart, so be careful. I have to say this one is a little easier to do with the yoga mat. So if you're slipping like I am a bit, you might want to use the yoga mat for this one. Just strengthening those ankles. And the hamstrings, of course. And coming down. It's quite a bit of work. Your lower back has probably worked as well. Rest. Let the breath come back to neutral. And release that belt. And as a counter pose, we're going to do a asana, holding the knees on top or underneath, especially if you have knee issues. And also this is nice for the shoulders. I'm going to show this version today. Inhale here, exhale, contract the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, inhale away, expanding from the chest to the belly. Exhale, knees towards you with the breath moving your legs. Exhale, pelvic floor. Lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Hold, 1, 2. Inhale, upper chest, lower chest, full belly. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, everything in and up, chest falls, hold, 1, 2, inhale, upper chest, lower chest, full belly expands. Last time, exhale, hold after exhale. Now, if it's comfortable, you can hug your knees and stay here on top or underneath. The full pose. And if it's comfortable still, this is for the thyroid and strengthening the neck. Can you bring the head up towards the knees? And inhale, release. Be careful if your neck is weak or you've got injuries to your head. With this, you might just want to stay with your head down. So this is a lot of strength work. So be careful if you have injuries to the neck or the head. Exhale, coming up. Hold. Inhale. Exhale. Strengthening the throat, the front of the neck. Those neck flexors. And rest. And rest with your legs straight or your legs bent, angle the knees in, your choice. I'm going to bring my feet to the wall and align my back that way, keep my feet nice and parallel. Now, if you have scoliosis and you lie here and you feel that your body's kind of turning to one side a bit, you can put a blanket under half of your body, a folded blanket, a thin layer to make your body feel like it's more even on both sides. So I'll show that another day, but keep that in mind for those of you who have scoliosis and you have a rotation in your spine one way. Just feeling the back body. Just resting here. Inhale, feel the upper back, the middle back, the lower back sinking into the floor. And as you exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. So as you inhale, your back does arch. But can you try to bring your back body more to the floor, even as you arch? Feel your rib cage expand. And you will feel your lower back move away from the floor as you inhale. Belly expanding, exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in as you feel your lower back move into the floor, chest falls. Now inhale, feel that back arch. Focus on the back body. Inhale, upper back, expanding, middle back, lower back. As the belly expands, the lower back will move away from the floor. Can you lessen that curve by trying to breathe into the back body? Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Okay, so we're going to come back to an asana, a posture, a form, a movement, a shape, bringing us into asa presence, alignment. Bend the knees, feet on the ground. And actually, we're going to do this one leg at a time. So inhale, you're going to bring your legs are straight, bring your arms overhead to the floor behind you or anywhere that you can. I'm going to do one leg at a time. Exhale, I'm bending my right leg as I bring my right hand down by my hip and I'm sliding my heel towards my hips. So you might want to do this by folding, if you have a mat, folding your mat so that the lower part is letting you feel the floor. Inhale, coming up. But you might be able to do it with your mat if it's thick enough. Other side, exhale. So my left hand's coming by my hip and I'm sliding my left heel towards my waist. And inhale, this is for the knees, tracking of the knees, one knee at a time. It's also working with the core strength. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, upper chest, lower chest, full belly. As you do that, also try to feel the back body that we worked on earlier. Other side, exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, drawing the knee in, the heel in. Inhale. Now, can you try both legs? If this is too much, go back to one leg at a time. Exhale, drag both heels in. Use your core strength to do this. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. You should be shaking if you're using your core. Inhale, lengthening out. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. I'm going to feel my back body as I breathe out. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back. Expand my belly. Exhale, pelvic floor. Lower belly. Feel like the breath is moving your legs. Belly button in, and chest falls. If you do it right, you will shake. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, belly out and chin in if you can, Jalandhara Bandha. We're going to add on now, exhale. You do this one leg at a time or both legs. Exhale, drawing everything in. And go one more step to bring the knees to the chest, to the Apanasana we worked on earlier. Inhale, legs to the sky, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, as the arms come up. Exhale, bring your feet down as you bring your hands down towards your hips and touching the toes to the floor. And then the heels down and extending out. Inhale. This is putting three poses together, Tataka Mudra. Inhale. Exhale, dragging your heels up towards Apanasana. Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. This is fantastic for the knees. Tracking of the knees, great for the lower back, and great for strengthening the core. Exhale. Touch the toes to the ground, hands towards your hip. You should be feeling your core work. Inhale, expand. In yoga, that core is our mula root. And it's a lock, it's a bandha, root lock, mula bandha. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, knees to the chest, hands down by your hips. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, extending the legs up to the sky, arms overhead, semi-inversion. Exhale, touching the toes to the ground. As you draw the lower back to the floor, engage the core. Inhale, expanding out. And rest, rest by bending your knees, angle the knees in or keep them wide, and just rest here. Belly breathing, hands on the belly before we move into our Shavasana relaxation. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale, contract. Count the breath. Every 2 breaths, add 1 second to your exhale. Inhale any length you like. It can be the same as your exhale or just whatever it likes to be. And then that exhale, try to extend it. This is to put us into relaxation response, grounding. Every 2 exhales, adding 1 second until you get to your maximum. And at that point, just stop, rest the breath, move into your Shavasana relaxation. You can put a pillow under your thighs to support the lower back. You could also put your legs up the wall to create an inversion. So I'm going to do that today. And this helps with venous blood return to the heart. And it said, which makes good sense, that if you put a pillow underneath the hips in this inversion, it helps with that venous blood return. So you can try that if that feels like a better flow. Otherwise, just lie on your back. I've got my belt on my ankles so I can relax my legs more. You could also put a belt on your thighs. Without that, it can be harder to hold your legs up. And try to make your torso even, so as much as possible straighten your spine. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Stay here about 3 minutes. Inhale, let, exhale, go. The Sanskrit, inhale, Om. Exhale, Namo. I surrender, I accept things as they are. The things I can't change in my life, like the smoke we've had, or COVID, things that we can't change. Having to wear a mask, having to do classes online, all these things we can't change, just accepting. And from that place of acceptance, figuring out how to work with it, not against it. How can I work with this change? One of the sources of suffering, according to the Yoga Sutras, is change, parimana. Change. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, Om. Exhale, Namo. You might get waves of that apana vayu, that downward flow of energy, like a wave is going down your system all the way to your feet, anchoring you, grounding you, relaxing you to this present moment. Notice that that inner smile just naturally arises on your face as you sink into presence, linking with your true self, that changeless, still ocean within you, of which you are a drop of the infinite landscape of you and all. Noticing the breath enter the nostrils and expand down to the belly as you inhale. Notice the breath moving from the belly up and out through the nostrils. Can you feel this physically? The rise and fall of the breath like a wave. Increase the length of that breath. Now when you're ready, bending your knees, got a belt on, loosening the belt, hugging your knees into your chest, coming to one side, stay here for a moment. And when you're ready, coming up to a seated position to close. And just ending with Om Shanti. This is Sanskrit from the ancient Vedas, 5,000 to 10,000 years old. Means peace. May we have peace in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions, our behavior, in our bodies, in our speech, in our minds, taking us towards that peace that is endless, lasting peace and joy. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Hari Om. May all obstacles be removed from that Om, Alpha, Omega, everything in between, conscious link between us and all. Namaste. Namaskaram. I honor that in you which is eternal, changeless,